All right, and we are live, and we are joined as always by I'm joined by my co-host John Sheeran and Dr. Hodgie the Electric Smudgy, and we have a very
Yo,
special guest. He is, by default, the only Andy Dalton fan left in Cincinnati. Logi Baker. He loves Andy Dalton like nobody has loved another man ever.
he loves Andy Dalton the way Dadio loves Doritos.
Yeah,
Uh, no, I think Dadio loves Doritos more than any human does. So that's
He knows you well.
yeah, but look. So we still don't have anybody watching the show. So guys, we can just relax and talk. Oh, now we have 5 people. Okay.
This for us.
Yeah.
hey, what's
So-
up, family?
Yeah, so look, Andy Dalton signs with the Cowboys. $7 million, right? $3 million guaranteed. Backup money, clearly. The question
Maybe.
is, yeah, Logi. So tell us maybe why.
Well, I mean, I'm excited for Andy Dalton going to the Cowboys because I was thinking if I was Andy Dalton's agent, then why wouldn't you want to go somewhere where they obviously for whatever reason, and I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, but for whatever reason, they don't want to pay him the 40 plus million that he wants. So I think that Dalton is brought in so that he can apply pressure to either make Dak sign a more team-friendly deal, or if he just plays through his franchise tag, then they can just let him walk and they have Dalton there. I think the reason he signed a one-year deal is not so that he can go somewhere else next year, but he can get signed on if he next year as the starter if they let Dak
But
go.
Logi, so why do you think? Logi, why do you think Dalton didn't ask for $40 million a year? You know, if he
No
thinks-
one's going to pay him that much.
No, Logi, please, Logi.
What? Why you didn't ask the
For $40 million a year,
Cowboys
like
for
that.
40 million a
Yeah,
year?
the Cowboys. Yeah.
I mean, that's not even an issue. Like he's
It's
just
more
in
money.
the
You always want the more money.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
Dalton's not in a
Put
position
me
to
in,
ask
coach.
for that.
Put me in. Look.
Yeah. Please.
For once, Logi and I agree. I, as a multi-millionaire, let me tell you, never underestimate the evil of billionaires. Okay, this Jerry Jones guy, this guy's really evil, and I totally agree with what Logi's saying. This was I'm trying to think of a polite way to put it. I want to use a word. How shall we say? Not nice move. I was going to use a bad word. Not nice move to put pressure on one of our really great QBs, which is Dak Prescott. And it's very unfair to him to put him in this position, really, to put someone who looks like a starter but is willing to be paid as a backup. And that was the key with the Dalton signing. Okay. It isn't about Dalton possibly starting. It is about Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones. And it was definitely not cool.
Well, I think that Dalton is in a position where if Dak Prescott tries to hold out or to not want to play under the franchise tag, like a Le'Veon Bell situation, then I think it really is beneficial for the Cowboys that he could be the starter for the first couple games of the season, which all just adds into like what you're saying is I think it's all just pressure on Dak.
Yes,
Andy
I
there.
agree. And you know what? We've learned something from Philly. It's not bad to have a situation where your backup is decent. You have a good quarterback as a backup. That's a smart thing too. I'm not saying that the move didn't make sense.
Well, Logi, do you foresee a Nick Foles type run for Dalton, Super Bowl MVP?
No.
I mean, you can't foresee that stuff, but I
You
was
can't
one
rule
of the
it out.
people.
No, we can't. We've ruled it out.
I was one of the people who wanted Dalton to be that backup for Joe Burrow.
No.
And
Well,
I think people that worried about,
but not the $17 million a year. Maybe $17. Maybe like
no,
maybe
I
17.
wanted them
But
to
look,
cut him
1.7.
and then give him the exact same contract that Dallas just gave him
Yeah.
to be our backup.
But
they had to cut him to do that because of So they would have to cut and rehire him.
Yes.
Shout out to Matt Ledbetter for that idea. He gave me that idea.
Yeah. So, John, here we are with Logi Baker, the biggest Dalton fan in the history of Andy Dalton. I mean, even
It's a
Andy
rare
Dalton,
opportunity.
even Andy Dalton's mother
They should
sometimes is
put
like,
this man
Logi,
in a
tone it
museum.
down.
They
What's
should
that?
put this man in a museum as the
Yeah.
last Dalton fan. He should be
The last Dalton fan.
surrounded by glass, There should be buzzers going off when you want to touch him.
I mean, I'll be honest. Until like late in Joe Burrow's college career, Logi still wanted to give Dalton more chance.
I know.
He wanted to get So my thing is this, Logi. You were saying Dalton's never had real coaching, real talent around him. Give him that chance, and he still can shine. Why do you think he could be a starter in Cincinnati but not in Dallas? Like, why don't you think it's good enough?
You're putting words in my mouth.
Yeah. Okay, let's just move on to John. John,
smart. Be smart. We need some smart.
Yeah, we need, this is going very bad, this conversation.
We need some intelligent words quickly. Stat.
Yeah.
John, what do you think about my theory that it's to put pressure on Dak?
I think we just need to look at the facts here. Dak Prescott was placed with a franchise tag. For some stupid reason, the Cowboys don't want to pay him, even though he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They kind of put themselves in the corner after they gave Ezekiel Elliott $50 million guaranteed to play a non-important position. They have money to pay Dak, but they still don't want to do it for whatever reason. But I'm of the belief that this has nothing to do with Dak. I think if you sign Andy Dalton to a $7 million contract, up to $7 million to be a backup quarterback, that's one of the best deals that you can get at an important position. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it has anything to do with Dak. I was surprised that he went to Dallas because I don't know anything about the Dak Prescott situation. I would assume that they would be working their tails off to get any type of deal done before he has to play on that franchise tag. Because if he does play on that franchise tag and he continues to be Dak Prescott, which is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, surrounded by great talent, then his cost is even only going to go up even more. He's going to ask for well above $40 million guaranteed. Because in this time period, reminder, Patrick Mahomes is going to get a deal probably. Right. He's going to ask for more than $40 million a year. Yeah. Deshaun Watson could be in that same conversation as well. There's no reason why the Cowboys should wait this out. And the signing Dalton has nothing to do with replacing Dak Prescott with Andy Dalton. I think this has everything to do with him being a backup close to home on a good roster if he has to play, re-enter the free agency market next year and maybe get something like the best case scenario to get something that what Ryan Tannehill did. And that's only in a special scenario where Ryan Tannehill ended up playing because Marcus Mariota was bad. Dak Prescott's not in the same Marcus Mariota is not in the same stratosphere as Dak Prescott. So I don't even think that situation.
John, okay, hold on, John. Dalton, what was it last year? I think in the middle when he's like, why didn't they trade me? Like, okay, what do we get? Maybe a 7th round pick if we trade him before the trade deadline last year. Maybe
but he was right. We should have.
Well, here's my thing. Dalton said, why didn't he trade me so I could have a chance to start instead of sitting behind Ryan Finley for it was supposed to be like 5-6 games at the time, right? What was it? How many games were left? 6 games were left. No. 8 games were left. Sorry, 8 games were left. He ended up sitting 3 games. My point is this. He was so upset. He's like, I want a chance to start. Well, now he had the chance to go to, say, the Jaguars. I hate to say it. I really didn't want to see it. But let's say the Steelers, where Roethlisberger is breaking down. He had a chance where there's a higher opportunity for him to start, but he wanted to go home. So what is Dalton?
He wanted to go anywhere.
This is clearly a backup deal. Dak is going to be back. So go ahead, John.
He wanted to go anywhere that he was wanted. It was very like the whole issues with Dalton potentially feeling some form of strife towards the Bengals organization. Timing is everything. Timing is the one thing that screwed Dalton here. The timing of his benching collided right at the trade deadline, so he and Zajan weren't able to work out any type of deal with another team. That was just unfortunate timing. The timing of all these other quarterbacks entering the free agent market. Well, mind you, Dalton wasn't a free agent. He was still under contract with the Bengals, and I think both sides realized that the best way for this to work out is if it was a trade. And they took their time to try to get that trade. They did everything in their power to try to get that trade. Right. They almost did it with Chicago. They almost I guess they were in talks to do with Jacksonville, but clearly neither team wanted them as much as Chicago wanted Nick Foles, and Jacksonville just wanted to go Gardner Minshew. Obviously, New England saw Dalton throw like 4 interceptions against them in December and said, "We don't want any part of that. We'd rather go with Jarrett Stidham." The market for Dalton was extremely low, which was much lower than what many fans expected him to be, because the NFL's opinion on Dalton has soured over the past 4 years because
he only waited like a day. He only waited like a day after he was cut,
Yeah, but he didn't go to the Jags, the Patriots, like people expected him, because those were his most favorable places to go to compete for a starting job. In terms of just being a backup and on a low contract, he had plenty of suitors, and that's why he was signed early. But for what many people thought he could be this year as a guy who can compete for a starting job, that never happened because the NFL
No.
doesn't view him that way.
Right.
So I want to
Yeah.
jump in.
Yeah.
John, so you're saying that Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL,
Yes.
right?
Unquestionably.
And I have to bring up this. You're saying that the opinion over the last 4 years of Andy Dalton by the NFL has soured.
Mhm.
However, we know that just at the beginning of this year, people were talking about that he's still one of the top, starting quality quarterbacks in the NFL. So I think you're saying that Patriots don't want him because of him throwing 4 interceptions against
That's
them.
part of
I
it.
don't think the Patriots don't want him because they're tanking for Trevor Lawrence. So I don't think he was ever in their I think that they want a backup situation like Ryan Finley versus Jake Dolegala so that they can get Trevor Lawrence.
So
But
he's saying.
If
So
you want to
Logi's
hear
saying.
a really
so Logi's
entertaining,
saying.
whoa, crazy.
Logi's saying.
Sorry, Dadio.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupt you, but that's what we do here.
Yeah.
Sorry if I spit when I speak.
Yeah.
But look,
Speaking of which,
but
I
look,
mean,
Logi's saying basically, John. Let me just summarize. He's saying Andy Dalton is so good that the Patriots couldn't afford for him to win all these games.
no, he's not.
That's the problem.
No, he's not.
John, please,
No,
John.
look,
Well,
wait,
listen.
no.
Here's the more important thing. What did we know this week? We know that Marvin Lewis just took credit for all of Dalton's playoff losses, right? On
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated, James Rapine shared that, right? So Marvin Lewis comes out. He says, "Look, all of Dalton's postseason failures are on me." Well, that leaves all of his regular season success as his what he's due, right? And then you say the last couple of years, people like myself have been saying that, well, we have a bottom-ranked defense, we have a bottom-ranked offensive line.
Yeah.
But here's the missing link that you might be missing in Dallas. Mike McCarthy, who is a very good friend to Marvin Lewis.
No. This
Right.
must stop.
Logi,
No.
Logi. Can I just clarify something? Yeah, Hodgie,
Yeah.
please. Hodgie's gonna
Okay.
explode. We don't want Hodgie to explode. I'm afraid John's gonna leave the stream and Hodgie's gonna explode.
Yeah,
So-
I'm about to explode.
Yeah. So first, Hodgie.
I mean, the reason we can't accept Marvin Lewis's reasoning there is because we have eyes. We watch those postseason games. That's like me saying that I'm responsible for Dadio's horrible political opinions. I'm not. I could say that, but we have ears and eyes, and we see what happens. And with Andy Dalton, look, I love the man.
I'm not saying that Marvin Lewis is right. What I'm saying is that Marvin Lewis went to his buddy Mike McCarthy and said, "Look, man, Dalton wasn't responsible for those postseason losses. That was on us. That was on the team." Mike McCarthy, who just paid Dalton $3 to $7 million to come and put pressure on Dak Prescott. Bear in mind, as of last year, not this past season where the Bengals may or may not have been calling bad plays so that they could tank for Joe Burrow. Table that. As of last year, Dalton ranked right between Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz. And you're saying, John, that Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL based on basically last year alone. Up until last year, Andy Dalton was debatably on the same level of Dak Prescott. And I think you put him in a good situation. He's on the same level.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I
Yeah.
actually did the research about this, and I would like to
Hit me with some facts, brother.
Yeah,
Hit him
let's
hard.
go. And I don't want to disparage Dalton any more than we've already done, so I
That's
won't
what we do on
include.
this show.
I don't want to include 2019. So basically, what I did is I split up Dalton's main important stats in the first 4 years compared to Dak's first 4 years, and then I did Dalton's next 4 years as well. And these are the statistics that we need to look at to clarify what makes a good quarterback a quarterback. So we're not going to go completion percentage. We're not going to go touchdown interception ratio. We're not going to go passer rating. We're not even going to go yards per attempt. Expected points added for play, QBR, and PFF grade. These are the three stats that show the best correlation from year-to-year success at the quarterback position. In Dak's first 4 years, his EPA per play was 0.135. And that number might not mean a lot to people because they don't know what that means. But anything above 0.1 is basically top 10 quarterback level. That's what we've seen from 2006 to 2019 when this metric has been recorded. So 0.135 first 4 years of Dak's career. His average QBR 68.2. That includes multiple years above 70. Average PFF grade 77.7. Now, mind you, this is the first 4 years of his career. So in his first 4 years as the Cowboys quarterback, basically all stable years and two really, really good years. His rookie year and last year, He's shown to be an above-average quarterback that's only getting better and only elevating as the team around him gets better. In Dalton's first 4 years, his expected points out of play 0.074, half of Dak's number. Like that's below average from 2011 to 2014. Average QBR was 50. Average PFF grade was 65.8. We've seen Dalton grow from those first 4 years because this is the next 4 years going from 2015 to 2018. Expected points per play just under 0.1. So right on the cusp of getting into that range, but still in the average range. The average QBR of 57.2. That's slightly better than his average QBR of 50 in his first 4 years, but not exactly on the level of Dak. Average PFF grade was 76.4. That is close to Dak. That is where you're seeing more context on a play-per-play basis, and that was improvement for his first 4 years. But mind you, that was when Dalton was 20, 28, 29, 30, 31 years old. He had a lot more experience, a lot more age on Dak comparing in those years. So we've never seen Dalton put year-to-year stats even close to Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott's younger. There's no reason why this debate should even exist.
And may I tack on to that the danger that has existed in Cincinnati with being a little bit too pro Dalton and a little bit blind to Dalton's faults. I want to remind everybody that we've needed an upgrade for a long time, okay? We saw what happened in 2014. We saw the game against the Chargers, the 3 turnovers. And I love McCarron, I do. But we had a chance to get, Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo in the second round, and we missed that chance. And then in 2017, when a lot of us were already saying, look, Dalton's a nice guy and he's great for Cincinnati, but he's not the answer to our problems, okay? We get John Ross instead of Mahomes or Watson instead of Mahomes, okay? And this is crazy. This is sheer craziness. This is absurdity. So I think we got to be more realistic about Dalton's chances. He's started his career as a backup. And he's going to be I already called him the greatest backup in the NFL. He is, because he's consistent, because he's a solid guy. He doesn't make drama. That's why no one wanted Cam. Cam's the better quarterback. But no one wants Cam as a backup because of the drama.
Well, Cam also, the injuries. But, Hodgie, let me just real quickly. I don't want to agree with Logi, but I want to appreciate Dalton, if I can.
Yeah.
Because I feel, John, thank you for the stats. I'm sure at least 2% of our audience understood all that.
Well, I did. So I think it was me and John.
Yeah, the audience that has the PhDs or MDs, I'm sure a few of them understood. So, but I just want to say what Dalton did do for the Cincinnati Bengals. What Dalton did, and Marvin Lewis and AJ Green, they were all contributors, was we had a steady incline, where we're going up, where we went from 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 12-4, whatever. Just keep going up, where we raised our expectations. And that 2015 team, we don't know what happened, but I mean, people actually thought we were contenders. It wasn't same old Bengals. It was like, this team can win. They can really win, especially at home. We were very strong. And
I think
that was something.
I think if we're trying to transition into just being a little bit more appreciative of what we got, this was the most winning era of Bengals football. We do appreciate. I think now after these last couple seasons, we appreciate the improvement from the previous eras, and hopefully that this is just the new beginning of the new era. Now, bear in mind, I come on as the Dalton guy. But I'm very excited for the Joe Burrow era. And, I'm very appreciative to Marv. I'm very appreciative to Andy. And I think they helped get our team going in the right direction. Things that people have been asking for a long time as far as changes and how this team is run. We're starting to see them now. And I think that's what you're alluding to, is that even though this era is ending, that didn't end how we wanted it. I think that it was overall an improvement for our franchise.
And let me back away from something that I said a little bit. I said that Marvin Lewis can say he took credit for or took responsibility for the stuff that happened to Andy Dalton in the postseason, but we saw Andy and we saw how he doesn't step up in the postseason. Fine. But ultimately, this isn't the NBA, this is the NFL. It's a coach's game. The real question mark for next year is not Burrow. No. The real question mark for next year is, can Zach Taylor coach? Because we don't know that yet. People talk about the offensive line. You can't. Getting a good offensive line is even harder, and John will say this, harder to put together than just getting one great QB. So that's not, what's that?
Go ahead, finish.
But I'm saying the real question mark is the coaching. Will the coaching work out next year? And I don't know if it will, because no one's ever seen Zach Taylor coach successfully.
Coaching in the NFL is obviously imperative. I think we all recognize
You're
that.
muted.
Oh, am I muted?
I can hear you.
Coaching in the NFL is imperative, obviously. Quarterback's what matter the most. It's the most valuable position on the field. It trumps value of any other position in general, and that's why I firmly believe that Andy Dalton was a top 5 second-round pick in the entire 2010s. I think to get a 9-year starter, a 3-time Pro Bowler at quarterback outside of the first round, that's rare, and that allowed the Bengals to be successful in the ways that they were. But also, I keep seeing people saying, would you rather have Dak for $40 million or Dalton for $10 million? And the answer is always Dak for $40 million. If you have the chance to secure a top-level quarterback for multiple years, you pay whatever you need to, because the value of that is too tremendous.
Yeah.
But going back to this though, Dalton was a top 5 second-round pick at the 2010s.
John, I don't agree with that.
Well, that's whatever. You have to look at the value of the quarterback position compared to other positions as well. He's not a top 5 talented player drafted in the second round. That's indisputable. But in terms of value, in terms of what he brought for that position, yes, absolutely. But at the end of the day, like you said, they were able to win a lot with Dalton. They were able to put a great team around him, and he was able to drive the ship. And I think I'm wearing an Andy Dalton jersey right now. I think what they got for him was about as good as they can get, and that's a success. Whether or not the playoff success didn't come, the primetime games didn't come, the narratives and all that didn't come, and that's with a lot of factors as well. There's a reason why Andy Dalton's not getting another contract to be a starter, because this is just who he is now. But I think we can still appreciate what he did for what he was.
John, I gotta say that's the first time I've ever seen the Dalton jersey, and I'm guessing it's right after he was cut, so that was like $3 at
Always looking for a deal, aren't we? Always looking for a deal, Daddy.
You paid. Hold on.
He's trying to buy your jersey. Don't sell it to him.
Hodgie, stop. He said he paid full price for that, so like $80 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So this was before you knew football, I'm guessing.
This was actually before I was on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Before we taught him everything.
John's learned a lot on the show.
Let me just say that we on this show, we focus a lot on Andy Dalton and on the Bengals situation. But it is a virtual prom, soap opera, Days of Our Lives situation with NFL QBs right now. There is some crazy stuff going on. And there's other opportunities to get great quarterbacks. So if the Dallas Cowboys wanted to, there's a lot of stuff they could have done. I'm amazed at the craziness. Okay, you got Rosen is a backup. You got Derek Carr is being threatened by possibly getting Aaron Rodgers. You got all kinds of crazy stuff going on right now, and this signing of Andy Dalton was just last night. I mean, wow. What an exciting time, isn't it? I mean, despite the coronavirus and all that, there's so much crazy stuff going on and so many moves going on in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you look at
that.
Yeah,
I'm feel really, really bad for like legit hardcore Dak Prescott fans, because like John just pointed out, Dak Prescott is a good quarterback.
Great.
And I can't
Jinx.
I can't imagine
one of the best.
If it was completely like the opposite scenario, if Dak Prescott were to come and be right behind Andy Dalton, every time that Dak throws an interception or he has a bad play, my goodness, the Dak haters are just going to be insane. And we had a bit of that with the Nutsos here in Cincinnati with the whole McCarron thing. You remember that? Yeah, those McCarron guys were the worst. They were nuts. I mostly just meant you, Hodgie. Yeah, I know. Guilty as charged. But it's a really crazy situation right now. If you guys are following the whole thing with what's going on with QBs in the league.
Yeah. I mean, Cam Newton, Joe Flacco, there's a lot of guys that are still out there.
Moving around.
Yeah.
And this whole thing.
Can we
about
get Cam Newton to be our veteran backup?
Why would he
bad
do
idea.
that though? Why would Cam Newton do that? There's a reason why he's still out there.
I mean,
I
look,
can't
I think
hear
Josh
John, but I can
McCown.
see his face.
John, you're going to disagree, but I think Josh McCown you probably be okay with. But I would be okay with Joe Flacco too, to be honest with you, because I don't think he thinks physically he can be a starter very long.
Okay, let me explain.
So, but he does have a lot to offer in terms of just handling the pressure, with the Super Bowl run and the playoff run. I think he could teach a lot about handling the pressure of being a NFL QB. What do you think, John?
What do Andy Dalton and Nick Foles have in common?
They're Christians.
Yes.
Yeah. We need a Christian. Logi, can you be the backup QB?
Hold on. You guys are going to think there's a crazy...
Oh, was that an actual question or a rhetorical question? I thought that was a punchline.
John got my answer. These Christian QBs,
man,
very religious Christian QBs.
McCown's very Christian.
And they are humble pie kind of guys. They're willing to sit as second stringers and not cause drama. And believe me, as a second stringer, that's a lot. You got a Burrow, a starting guy, Burrow, who's you're trying to build his confidence. I'm a QB coach. I know these things. I always wanted the conservative Christian backup QB because I knew he's going to go to his Sunday school, play his guitar, and just chill out and trust in God and not bother me about starting. And that's what I mean.
John, why don't you ever talk about this in your statistical analysis about the conservative Christian elements of backup QBs?
I'll say this. Dalton hasn't been a backup in I think 16 years? No, 15 years, 17 years. He hasn't been a backup since he was first becoming a teenager. He started basically the last 3 years of high school. Started for 4 years at TCU.
Well, last year 3 games he was a backup.
Started 9 years in Cincinnati. He just became a backup in October on his birthday in 2019. That was for the first time since the mid 2000s.
And he handled it well.
So regardless of what his beliefs, there's still an ego that you build up being the guy for most of your life. So I think it's a credit to Dalton to take on this new role because it's really the only role that he can get at this point.
I think what John's saying is Dalton's going to be an even better Christian now, a true, sincere Christian, because he's going to be humbled.
Sure.
No? Yeah. No. So how can so which conservative Christians are still available, John? Just considering,
I don't think they put that on the roster sheet, unfortunately.
Okay.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys buy into this idea that we need a veteran back, like a legit good back? No disrespect to Ryan Finley, but legitimately the Carson Wentz, they had Nick Foles, their season wasn't derailed. I don't buy into the idea that Burrow needs this mentor, but I do want I'm bought into the notion that we spend all this money, we have the best college quarterback, we're in a Super Bowl window. We're going to try to win this year, next year, year after that for the foreseeable future.
Right.
I would love to hear your guys' opinion. Do we actually need a legit backup?
Yeah, I want to back up. Speaking of backups, I want to back up Logi on this and say what makes Burrow different than a lot of other young QBs is that he's already reaching out for the mentorship. He's already talking to your...
Well, there's that. But let's be honest. And John, I know John will want to say this. Logi, the Nick Foles type run is the exception. If you have a top quarterback, like Vance was playing at the MVP level, it's very rare that if he goes down, that team continue to click and you still cruise into the Super Bowl. So if Burrow goes down, we're screwed either way. So the backup is not going to be someone who we want to ever rely on. It's just not, you're not going to, if there's someone who's even close enough.
But Cam Newton's literally sitting out there.
No, Cam Newton
is a starting quality quarterback.
Yeah.
And is he willing to take the same deal, maybe a little bit more or whatever?
Why should he?
That Andy Dalton just got?
No, it would be really bad to get Cam as a backup. Too much drama.
Why? I mean, is Burrow threatened by Cam Newton?
Yes.
No, but Cam Newton realizes that if he waits until the summer when there's injuries popping up, he can get an opportunity later to become a starter. He's not going to take a backup job now.
Did you see the?
I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything John's saying. So
I'm pretty sure. I wonder if Logi's lying about this.
I don't believe you, Logi. I've done that move before. The I can't hear anything John's saying move. I will say, I saw a comment about Kaepernick. Bringing in Kaepernick. Wouldn't that be exciting to bring in Kaepernick? But it's not going to happen, especially not at Cincinnati. Too much, too controversial. I wish that we lived in such a world because Cap would be a great backup quarterback. But no, not on the Bengals, and probably not in the NFL. No.
Flacco wouldn't be bad. I don't think you would get too much trouble with Flacco because of the reasons that Dadio explained. But the whole discussion with backup quarterback, the reason why Jalen Hurts is a good pick for the Eagles is because Wentz has been proven to not be durable down the stretch. That's where Nick Foles' value became a thing, not just because he won the Super Bowl, but because Carson Wentz couldn't be relied on to stay healthy. We don't know that for Joe Burrow. That's just projecting health issues for a quarterback that only got hurt, I think, a couple years ago. That's why he had to leave OSU in the first place. So if Joe Burrow proves that he can't stay healthy like a Carson Wentz, then yeah, the value of a good backup quarterback becomes a lot greater. But like Dadio said, if you have to rely on your backup quarterback, odds are you're just going to fail every time.
Yeah. Now, if they had cut Nick Foles instead of trading him, they could have gotten maybe him.
Nick Foles is the reason why Andy Dalton's on a Bear.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the Bears wanted Nick Foles to trade. They wanted Nick Foles for a 4th-round pick more than they wanted Andy Dalton, and I just even if with me, I just don't quite understand that.
Yeah, I agree. Look at what Gibson Acoustics is saying. Man, I wish we could get AJ McCarron. By the way, AJ McCarron, Christian conservative QB, great backup, never caused drama ever.
Yeah. You know, I'll say this. It almost seems like Hodgie was setting us up for bringing in McCarron again.
Well,
You know, conservative Christian.
it was a very slow and careful maneuvering to kind of wedge you into the corner. But yes, I think we could do worse than get an AJ McCarron.
And may I add that just like we got rid of Dalton, I think our discussion got rid of Logi. I think he left the stream. Oh, is he back now? Hold on. Oh, he's back. Yeah,
I'm back.
You haven't given up yet.
I left to
You
see if
haven't
I
given
can
up yet.
hear John now. John, can you say something?
Logi is the best.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
you,
now
John.
now he hears that, of
The
course.
game is
Oh, I
over.
heard that.
Sure.
You should have said Dalton is the best. He would have been able to hear that
I'm
too.
clipping that audio, by the way, just so you know.
That's going to be his ringtone.
It's the truth. No one's like Logi.
Yeah, no one is like Logi in their defense of Dalton. I mean, let's be honest. You know,
Dalton apologist galore.
I mean, his
Well,
love for
here's
Dalton
the
makes
thing.
him
I
think
love-
less of. Yeah.
I love Dalton for a couple of different reasons, and
Yeah, please.
probably chief amongst them is the fact that I'm 33 years old. I've got young kids just like him. I'm a man of faith, and I wanted him to win a Super Bowl, man. You know, I live vicariously through that. I was excited about trying to do this I'm the type of person who I cheer for the players. So I want the players to succeed. I want AJ Green to win a Super Bowl with our team. It loses a little something if Andy goes and does it with somebody else. But more than all of that, I'm also excited for this new generation of Bengals fans because Joe Burrow is not someone who I identify with, but maybe John, who's just coming out of college, who's this guy who's young and has a different personality. Yeah, maybe he can identify with Joe Burrow more than I would, and I'm happy for those fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically,
you guys
John
realize-
only supports Burrow because he's his age, and you like Dalton because he's your
No,
age.
you guys realize what Logi just did? He just made a
Yeah.
case for himself to be the
Yeah,
backup
exactly.
QB
Yeah.
at the Cincinnati Bengals.
He's been
spot.
doing it the whole. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Logi, you brought up a good question. One we
Logi
have
could
not-
truck some defenders, by the way. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm 300. I could
Oh yeah.
not
You're
do
already wearing
anything.
the jersey. You need the helmet. So look, now here's the thing. You brought up AJ Green, and I've been wanting to hear the opinions of my colleagues on what's going to happen here with the AJ Green and the Ross, and a lot of stuff
Okay.
still up in the air.
Very simple. Ross, we just denied his 5th year. Which was a bad move in my opinion. John, you might disagree.
I disagree.
I think his upside is way too high. We're not going to find someone like that anytime soon if he meets his potential. I think we should have kept him. But this means with all the kind of bad taste in his mouth from these years in Cincinnati, he's gone. He's gone after
Yeah,
this.
he is gone.
Even if the Bengals want him back, even if he has a breakout year, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, whatever, he's gone. Which I don't like.
So
I don't like.
What did you think of Tyler Eifert's upside?
I'm
No,
so
that's
glad
different. That's different.
No, it's
That's-
not. It's the same exact thing.
It's the same thing.
It's
But Eifert, we gave him like 7. We kept giving him chances.
the only
years and years.
difference here is that Eifert's 5th-year option was about 7, maybe 8 million.
Yeah.
John Ross's 5th-year option is 16 million.
So
Are you
Okay.
going to pay that for a guy that hasn't proven to stay healthy, even though he's got great talent?
And we need
I
that
get
space
that.
for the offensive line.
Okay,
So,
but look,
John, are you saying that like Eifert, like there's still a chance that we do work out a contract with Ross, just
No.
not not for the money that
these
was?
are the scenarios. Either Ross plays the whole season and does well, and then the Bengals probably can't afford him at that point, or they don't want to pay him because they don't trust him he can stay healthy beyond that. He stays healthy and stinks, and they let him go anyways. He has a similar season to 2019 where he plays about half the year and he does well, and then they bring him back on maybe like a 1 or 2 year deal, or he gets hurt for the entire year and then they just don't bring him back. So the odds of him being brought back are just minimal at this point because they're not going to extend him to any type of contract. They're going to let him play out his contract year. Hopefully he plays well and he can earn some money for another team. But the only way he comes back is if he gets hurt in some capacity, I would think.
I think the drafting of T. Higgins was the goodbye.
But they're different players. They're different players. John Ross is the X factor. John Ross is the guy who breaks the game open, and with a guy like Burrow who can
I'm a
improvise.
fan.
I got to tell you, I think John Ross, he doesn't have the competitiveness or the drive of an Antonio Brown, but physically he can be that guy.
But Dadio,
I mean,
No.
I know, John, 16 million is a lot. But with the Bengals, it's like, what are they going to do with their money?
no, but hold on, Dadio. You're the one who's always saying that John Ross never reached his full potential.
He was showing flashes last year.
I know.
He had some
You
amazing plays.
I know. But you always said it was Andy Dalton's arm strength and issues, right?
Right.
But you got another QB that doesn't have great arm strength.
No. It wasn't just arm strength. No. Andy Dalton, so many times John Ross was making a play, but it wasn't the play designed, and Andy Dalton couldn't do anything about it. Burrow is the exact opposite. Burrow can anticipate those things. He will throw Ross open. John, please.
Dadio, for that logic, I would agree that it's smart to try to work out some type of a 2-year extension for Ross this offseason, but that's not going to happen. So we have to work with what is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I hope we can bring him back. John, I hope this. I hope that he's not so mad at us for the way we handled early, because it was partly on him too. He was going through some issues. So I just hope that he isn't negative toward our franchise. So if he has, let's say, 800 yards, 5 to 10 touchdowns, he wants to come back. That's what I'm hoping.
Get that money. Money is green. You can fold money, get as much of it as possible.
No, I know. I'm saying I hope if he get the money, he get it from us. He's okay with getting it from us. But okay, going to AJ Green.
We need a big offensive line signing. We need it.
Everything. We're not going to do it. John knows. They like who they have, and they don't want to spend money on the offensive line too much. Look.
Please tell me that's not true, John.
It's true.
It's true.
John, AJ, please.
You broke my heart right there.
It's almost 40 minutes. Almost 40 minutes. I just want to say about AJ Green. AJ Green is going to be back. They're going to hammer out a deal. That's very clear to me. All signs are pointing towards that. I mean, they want him to be around.
I hope that he retires.
They want him to.
I hope he retires a Bengal.
Oh, he will. He will. It'll be at least 3 more years in the Bengals. John.
I think it's going to happen. Until it happens, I think that's the assumption that we can make. But at the end, we can make all these Larry Fitzgerald comparisons that we want, but it still has to happen. I think that's what we believe will happen. But until it does happen, that's just something that we just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Look, I will say that if the Ross deal falling through means that we can keep AJ Green and Joe Mixon, great. I think, first of all, we haven't talked about Joe Mixon. That's fine. The show's done. We're out of time. Joe Mixon, underrated. Yes, he didn't have a great year last year, but you can't just go by that. There was a lot of weird stuff last year. So we got to keep Green, man. Green is the team's heart still, and a young rookie QB needs someone like an AJ Green, someone with seasoned and who can walk him through the ropes and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah.
Well, I was just saying we're getting to the end of the show.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up some positivity if I can, Dadio. Is this a good time for this?
Oh, please.
I just want to say that I'm proud of our fan base, because I just saw where the AJ or the Andy and JJ Dalton Foundation, that's the foundation that Andy Dalton and his wife run. for special needs families and special needs children. And when Buffalo donated all the money, they created a whole new wing for children's entertainment wing in Buffalo. And this is all as Hodgie says, all part of the nice Christian backup stuff. But I just want to give a lot of thanks to everybody who donated. And when Andy left, in 24 hours, they raised over $25,000, mostly in $14 donations. And I'm just really proud of our fan base for helping special needs families and contributing to that. And hopefully, he can continue to do that anywhere that he goes.
I amen to that. And can I say, we don't know everybody who did donate. We don't. But we know one person who did not. And that is the cheapest man alive, Dadio. That man doesn't donate to anything. Yeah.
Come on,
I feel
Dadio.
like we're getting off
man.
topic. We're getting off topic, but I'm a big fan. Hold on. I'm a big fan of donations.
You don't
That is
tip.
why I
You
that
do
is
not
why I
tip.
started a Patreon. Anybody who wants to donate and they want to know that their money is going to, a good place.
You see how he used your beautiful...
No, because hold on.
to raise money for himself?
Let me explain. Because when you donate to our Patreon, okay, it can even be $1 a month. On this show, we will talk about donating to other worthwhile causes, and we will promote those. It is a way of donating to so many charities by donating to us. It is an investment in charity. Really.
You're the kind of guy we got to hide our ventilator masks from.
I don't even know if ventilators really work. There's actually the research is still.
Yeah. He's gonna tell us to drink bleach right now. I know this guy. I grew up with this guy.
I just feel like. Yeah, anyways, we're getting off topic, but I want to close on I want to say congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys and their fans. Why? Because they have a guy who, if you put him in that, if you need someone to step in and play for you, look, this guy Dalton. People forget. They think he's broken. He's not. Logi, I mean, you're going to love this. Early 2018, the first 4 games, he was fantastic. Do you remember? I mean, he was looking better than even 2015 maybe. They went 3-1. He had 107 or something QB rating most of the games. He was good. Last year, first game, Seattle, he threw 400 something yards. I mean, he still showed flashes. He's 32, 33 years old. He has something left in the tank. Cowboys are going to be happy. His family's happy. He gets to go home, save money by not moving. Great situation. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to us that we have closure. We are happy we have our quarterback. Everybody's happy here. Any final comments, guys?
No, let's close this puppy out.
Okay. So
hey, guys, I appreciate you having me on.
We love you, man. We love you. The positivity.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see you next time.
I'll keep bringing it.
Sweetie, bye.